for you all of the time. I like to. I like to.
The dress I'm thinking of making has a bodice and a yoke. I don't want the yoke, so what I'm going to do, so I can cut it out as one piece, I've measured where the seam allowance would be on each of the bodice and on the yoke. I will then overlap these and stick them together, so then that just makes one bodice piece, and I'll need to do the same for the back as well. I am too lazy to trace a pattern to the right size, so what I tend to do is I will make some snips, especially on a curve, and then I will just fold back to the size that I want to make, and then cut around the fabric like that, because then if I then want to make a bigger size another time, I've still got it attached. I haven't completely cut it off, but I can't be bothered with getting tracing paper out and going around it that way. Once I cut the pattern pieces out, I got the bodice pieces front and back and attached them at the shoulder seams. I did the same for lining fabric and then laid them together, right sides together. I staged stitched round the neckline, and then once I'd done the top stitching, I then clipped around the curves. I then understitched it so that it would lay flat once the lining was inside the dress. And I'm just going to stitch all around the armhole to secure the lining so it doesn't slip out of place. I've just put a pin on each side here and here, but I'm not going to stitch that because that's where the zip is going to go, because that is the centre back. So this is the inside of the item. So I have stitched the armhole along here. You saw me stitch the neckline, but I've left open, this is the centre back, because this is where the zip is going to go. So now I have to turn it inside out. So I've turned the bodice the right way round, but now I want to sew up the armhole. So this bit here, this is the bottom of the armhole, so I'm going to join it to the other side, but I'm still going to leave the centre back open for the zip. So I've now stitched on that line, so if I turn it the right way round, you can see the bodice. It needs a bit of a press, but there, that is the armhole, and so all the stitching is enclosed within the lining, and it's all sealed up, all done. So I still left the centre back open, but the armhole is done, so I just need to do the other side now. Cut the lining fabric slightly shorter than the outer fabric for the skirt, treated them as one piece of material and gathered them both together. I then got the bodice lining, and I wanted to enclose that in the seam. I've now rolled up the dress like a giant sausage roll, so that with the bodice part of the lining, the seam allowance, it will cover up the gathering stitches of the skirt part. Once I'd unravelled the bodice again, I had to slip stitch the lining to the zip because of the way that the skirt part had been attached at the waist. That was the only way to do it, and I couldn't get in with my machine. After I'd done that, which didn't take very long, I then got some embroidery thread and used that as belt loops for the dress. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.
For you all of the time. I like to.